Zucchini Rollatini today. It looks like this. It has zucchini, obviously, sliced really thin. A nice ricotta mixture that has some herbs in it, an egg, kind of like the same stuffing that we use for mandoline, and simple marinara sauce. Let's get to it. So here's all the ingredients for zucchini rollatini. This is a great one. It's pretty simple ingredients. It's just a lot of cheese stuffed in zucchini. I'm gonna use these crushed tomatoes. I like this brand, pretty good. Use San Marzano or whatever quality you like. There's Palio ricotta and Galbani mozzarella. Here's 2 large zucchini. Large zucchini work better for this dish. Got some garlic and some Pecorino Romano cheese. Also have 2 large eggs, some parsley, and some spinach, baby spinach. Fresh basil is great in this too. I recommend you use that as well. So for the garlic, I'm going to take a couple cloves just with the back of a knife, do a little tap, and the skin will pop off just like this. This is a 2-pound tub of ricotta. We don't need that much, so I'm going to use about half of it. And I can always, they always have this plastic on there. I always have to cut it away. It's hard to remove. So after you do that, take, I'm kind of eyeballing it, about half the container. And I'm going to grate up some of this mozzarella cheese. This Galbani brand, which I don't use very often, is harder than the Palio. So normally I recommend Palio, you freeze it to grate it, but this one grated pretty easily, just like this. For the parsley, I'm going to remove any stems, like that was a big stem, don't want that in there. And I'm going to give it a chop to a mince. And get it all in there in that cheese mixture. I'm going to chop up the fresh spinach. Excuse me, I was like, what? Put basil in it too. So we get it all in there. It's a lot of green with the cheese. Pecorino Romano, about a 1/4 cup I'm going to put in here now. Put on some later. Black pepper. And mix this together. We want to mix it together right now well and taste it with our spoon before we add in the egg, because we're going to put a raw egg in there. Even with the Pecorino Romano being very salty, it still needs some more salt. We want to get this seasoning absolutely perfect, then put our egg in here. And our egg is our binder. Going to add a little bit of creaminess. It's just going to hold the ricotta mixture for this zucchini rollatini together so it doesn't ooze out the sides when it's all baking. So I'm going to mix it, incorporate those flavors, and that's just a perfect stuffing ready to go. So I'm using a vegetable peeler here. This is a great tool to use for this. And I'm going to get strips, very thin strips like this. You could also use a mandoline. Just be careful if you do. And I'm going to take them all. I'm going to go right down to the seeds. Now these you can save, you can use for another use, but I don't recommend continuing to go at that point. Just stop kind of at the seeds. So we have very thin pieces. If you don't do this and you have a little thicker, you might have to boil them for about 20 seconds. So let's move on to the marinara. I'm going to coat the bottom of the pan with olive oil, about medium-low heat. Get your garlic in. Use a bunch of cloves if you want, or not that many. And I just put it in there, got it a little golden, and then pulled it out. And I'm a little high. My heat's a little high right now, so lower it. I'm lowering it quick before it splatters all over the place. And I got my sauce in, just 1 can of crushed tomatoes, a little bit of hot red pepper flakes here. And you can season up your sauce any way you like right now, but this is just a basic marinara. Check out my quick marinara recipe for the full, for the full recipe video if you want. But simple marinara, you don't need to buy jarred sauce. I never recommend doing that. I mean, this takes literally a few minutes to do. And when you're happy with it, just pull it off to the side and move on to making the rollatini. So you want to lay out your pieces, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't really matter. It's, if you have a really thin one, you might need to use a couple more. And I'm working on an 18 by 24 inch cutting board. It's a good idea to work on a big surface here, so you can do a bunch at a time. You get that mixture in, about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of the ricotta mixture, and they roll up just like that. Just perfect rollatini. And just distribute your mixture onto each each flat stack that you made, and you have this, you'll be able to do this quick. Just like that. I took about half of the sauce out of here. I wanted to keep about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch on the bottom. I'm going to layer all my rollatini in there. If you need to use 2 pans, use 2 pans. So I used 1 28-ounce can of tomatoes. So, we're working with about 3 cups of sauce. Put the sauce right back on top. Kind of a thick sauce we want because the zucchini has a lot of water in it. It's going to release water into this sauce when it bakes. So some sauce on top, more mozzarella on top, and that's not enough, so I'm going to put some more on. And, these measurements don't have to be exact. If you like a lot of cheese, go for it. Pecorino Romano. I'm using the other half of the Pecorino Romano right now. And you can bake this, it could be 350, it could be 375, I'm saying 400. And it's going to look like that. It's going to look absolutely perfect. This recipe is a great one. It's similar to this zucchini parmesan, which I recommend you check this one out too, and also check out this summer zucchini pasta. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.